So a few weeks back, we had the consultation for the proposed changes to the GCSEs and AS and A levels taking place in the 2020-2021 year, so the coming academic year. Now, I did entire videos going through each subject one by one, saying exactly what Ofqual were proposing that they do to those subjects for their exams or for their assessments throughout the 2021 exam season. I'll link those in the card above so that you can access them if you haven't seen them already. But it was pretty interesting. There was no confirmation and no definite assurance that those were going to be the changes that were going to happen. But now that consultation has come to an end and Ofqual have released the final decisions on how exactly the exams are going to change and how it's all going to work. They also added in the information on the responses, quoted some responses and put in the statistics as well. And what we've ended up with is changes to 15 A levels and 25 GCSE subjects. They also said that based on the most commonly taken subjects, the majority of students will benefit from these changes. Well, to be honest, pretty much every single student taking GCSEs takes either maths, English or science, and considering that English and science both have changes, that means that pretty much every single student will be affected by these proposals. Well, by these confirmed proposals now, and whether it be for better or worse. And it might be for worse in some cases, because let's face it, the majority of us enjoy doing our science practicals. So Ofqual have produced this document, much like the last one, and it includes a sort of summary at the beginning and then went through each subject one by one, just like it did before. Now, I'm not going to go through each of the subjects one by one like last time. The reason being simple, Ofqual haven't changed enough this time round. Most of these changes are exactly the same. What I'm going to focus on instead is on the subjects that Ofqual have chosen to either reject the changes for or have added a little bit more to the changes that they're making. Okay? And by the way, I just thought that I would add in that these documents are pretty lengthy and they are quite time consuming to read. So feel free to show your support by subscribing or liking this video, and just let me know that you want me to continue making these videos and that you'll find them useful, and I'll keep doing it. So let's continue. Let's start with the fieldwork subjects. So that's geography, geology and environmental science. So the fieldwork part of the GCSE version of these subjects, if they had a GCSE, was of course proposed to be removed. You didn't have to go out on that few-day trip to do your experiments and do your research. But as for the AS and A level courses, it wasn't removed for them. Yes, there was some reduction in what was expected, but they were still there. Now, it seems that teachers wanted there to be parity with the two qualifications, so what was going for GCSE to happen for AS and A level too. And Ofqual conceded on this one. I'm going to quote directly from the document and tell you what Ofqual said about these subjects, these fieldwork subjects. So they said, "We have considered the concerns raised and decided to remove the requirement for centres to make a declaration to the exam board confirming they provided all students with the opportunity to undertake a mandated number of days of fieldwork in GCSE, AS and A level geography." So technically, they haven't removed the fieldwork element, but your schools don't have to say whether you went on the trip to do that fieldwork element or not. So nobody's asking, so you don't have to do it. They're also adjusting the questions so that you don't have to use your own primary data to answer those questions in the exam or in the non-exam assessments. So there's some freedom there. You don't have to use your own information. You can use secondary sources, or they will supply sources, I assume, in some cases. It depends on your exam board and what they choose to do. Astronomy is also allowing simulations and observations like the other sciences, opposed to you actually getting out into the field or doing the other practical tasks or any experiments linked to that. Personally, I thought we always did that because we used simulations quite a lot when I did astronomy back in GCSE, but that was 11 years ago, so I'm not sure what changes have taken place within that subject now. And by the way, you'll be interested to know that a lot of people weren't happy with the removal of compulsory practical experiments in the sciences. Teachers and students alike seem to find that it goes a long way to really cementing that knowledge in students' minds and helping them to grasp concepts more fully. So I know some of you in the comments have said that you're not looking forward to the fact that you as individuals won't have to do experiments in your class anymore, and you actually wanted them because it helps you learn. And it seems that you're not the only people that thought that. It seems that that's quite a common thread, but either way, it still remains by the looks of it. Now, here's another big change, and that is English literature. Now, people rejected Ofqual's plans to change nothing for the 2021 exams. That was what they originally proposed, that nothing changes for English literature. Ofqual said that respondents simply didn't think there would be enough time to cover all the information, all the stuff that had to be learned. So Ofqual conceded again, and I'll just read a quote from the document here. "We have therefore decided to allow exam boards to change the way they assess GCSE English literature in summer 2021, so that centres will have the option to focus on particular texts. All students will be assessed on a plan by Shakespeare 2 and on 2 of the remaining 3 areas of content: poetry, 19th century novel, or fiction drama from the British Isles from 1914. That sounds pretty good to me, and a lot less stressful for you students and teachers when it comes to learning all the content or teaching all the content if you're a teacher. And it also helps with the revision. You no longer need to do as much. And that's it for individual subjects. Like I said, all the other subject proposals all seem to have been confirmed and gone through. So that includes the removal of the external assessment in art, the changes to the performances in dance and music and drama, the relaxing of the speaking assessments in MFL, and the modifications to the way that PE, DT and food tech assessments are carried out. That all those changes seem to be going ahead. And remember, you can see all those changes in the Ofqual document, which will be linked down below. And also you can check out my last videos where I went through subject by subject and explained what the changes are in those. Now, I hate to make these videos too long, so I'm going to stop here and create a part 2 in the coming days, which will cover all the other aspects of the consultation results and the changes which are not subject based, which are just overall things that they want to look at. So that's things like the length of exams, the timetables, and delaying exams and stuff like that, because they had whole sections on that. I'll also look at a very interesting point which I spotted in the consultation, where Ofqual essentially ignored the majority of its respondents and went along with its own proposal anyway. So people actually said about something, we don't like this, none of us like this, and Ofqual said, we don't care, we're going to go along with it anyway. So keep an eye out for that video. I actually suggest that you subscribe to this channel just so that you don't miss out on videos like that, because you will find the information that I'm giving, that I'm sharing with you, useful. And even if you don't find it easy to listen to me, the links in the descriptions alone will link you to the places which you can get that information from yourself and read it and really take advantage of that from. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening. Hopefully this information was useful. Ask any questions that you want down in the comments below, or let me know your thoughts on all these changes, especially the newer updated ones. And that's all for now. Until next time.